Hey, what's up, y'all? BOTCG here. Back with a little bit more of a standardized list or rundown of what you're most likely to see in set 1 of the Fated Clash meta. This is one of the more competitive decks to come out of Fated Clash, and I wanted to go a brief rundown of what generically this deck is most likely to look like, just so that you can have a starting point if you're building it or playtesting it, or if you're like expecting to see it and you just want to have a brief run through of what it's running and what the basically what those cards do. But getting into the core engine pieces of the deck, it has a little bit of a meatier engine than Raziel. We did make a similar video for the Raziel deck, so that's going to be linked either it's going to be linked either in the description or towards the end of the video, depending if this goes up before the Raziel video or if the Raziel video goes up before this video or after this video. But I digress. Let's get into the Varga cards real quick. I am speaking a little bit lower just because my girlfriend is trying to sleep right now. It is quite late. 3 copies of Persona Ride, 3 copies of Boulder Axe Dragon, 4 copies of DRAGRES Shuna. This is the multi-attack enabler of the deck. And then 4 copies of Impalehorn Dragon. Something key to note about Impalehorn Dragon is that for its secondary effect to work, it has to boost your grade 3 Varga Vanguard. And, you know, obviously all these core cards work very well with what Varga's trying to do, is wipe out the front row. But generally you're retiring your cards beforehand and drawing at the same time. Or you're getting some type of value with Shuna, either bouncing it back to your hand or bouncing it back to your hand and recalling Shuna once she's been retired. Granted, you can only use that secondary effect if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. Just had to double check it there. And then building this deck, I did have kind of like a 1 of text slot, so this card can actually be whatever you want it to be. It can be a blitz order, it can be an order card, it can be an extra draw piece, literally whatever you want it to be. I chose to play Galvi Dragon here just as an extra engine card that can work really well with Varga. It is a little bit of an anti-synergy with Shuna, because if Galvi's in the front row, if you don't have another Galvi, he can't be retired by Varga's effect, but you can always push him to the back, and if you have a grade 3 or greater Varga Vanguard, he's a very nice 13k booster, so he's just something I thought I could just toss in there, and it really wouldn't hinder the deck too much. But getting on to the rest of the deck, just like Raziel, this is very heavy-handedly running a lot of Dragon Empire's best. And considering this is the only other 1-of in the deck, we're playing a 1-of Angel Ladder. This is for Shiranui. You can play this very easily. There's a lot of room in the deck to ascend, just like the Raziel list. There's a lot of room in this deck to play basically whatever you want to play. This is just a standard breakdown of generally what this deck is going to be playing. So we're playing 4 of the Energy Cycler for Dragon Empire, 4 of your BT10 Cycler, Ride Cycler, only Ride Cycler. The reason that we're playing this in the deck is just we're playing this and the Energy Cycler just because generally you're not really doing anything the first couple turns of the game before you get into your Varga. So I really wanted to max out on these just so I won't be blown out by a Raziel or blown out by a Shiranui player or vice versa in the early game when I'm generally not doing anything. You get a free grade 1 off of your ride line, but that's generally not going to be enough against a Raziel that's hit the nut, or against a Shiranui player that's hit a relative nut as well. So that's the reason why we're running so many cyclers in this deck. Getting on to the rest of our generic cards, we're playing 4 copies of Mid-Hat. This is technically another cycler. It retires itself to draw a card when your Vanguard restands, or when your unit stands by a card ability. But this is why I tell people not to, little side note, this is why I tell people not to throw away their bulk. This was a bulk common for set 7, never saw play, and then now that Varga's in the picture, suddenly this card's like a $4 to $5 card currently. And then 2 of the Jeweled Beast Galnet. Again, if you are able to run the Jewel Beast lines at 2, if possible, depending on your ride line, I do generally say run them if you do have the deck space. This is another card that can draw you a card or be a 20k shield by itself. So this is generally what the core of the Varga deck is going to be looking like. The Jewel Beast can be different, the 1-of can be different, Camouflant can be different, but these are the general core cards that you are going to see with your Varga decks. Moving on to the rest of the deck here, we got 3 of the DPGs, 1 of the Blitz Order PG for your Shiranui and Luard matchups, 1 of the Dragon Empire OT, 3 of the 20k front. These also could be draws. There are Varga decks that are, again, the same idea with running the Camouflants with the energy cyclers is you just don't really want to be caught with your pants down in the early game. You don't want to be caught like not gaining some type of card advantage in the early game versus like your Shiranuis, versus like even your Luards with the new Soul Gaon dog. Like even your Luards can have like something to do early that generally you're not going to be able to do besides like get a free grade 1. But yeah. 4 copies of the Into Soul Crit. It's not something that's extremely necessary. If you have it, I would suggest you run it, because it's better to have it and not need it than to need and not have it, is my general rule of thumb. And then 4 vanilla crits and 4 vanilla heals. I do see people playing the restand heal. My general rule of thumb is, especially for the early game, I would just value the 15 every time. I've lost because of the effect heals, so I'm just biased, but I've never lost because of this was a 15k shield just from my personal experience. But yeah, this is a little bit of a quick rundown of the Varga deck. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're very close to that 1k mark. And once we do reach that 1k, man, we are going to be giving away this. This is our channel banner, our channel playmat. Giving away about 10 to 15 of these to our loyal subscribers once we do reach that 1k mark. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you stick around for that. Anyways, guys, y'all have a great night. Later.